I just want to open the file first.
Okay.
Customers afford you, because remember, priorities have changed. So how much we're willing to spend on your product before may have changed, because like I said, priorities have changed. Okay. Right. So now let's move on. What exactly is all the talk about a post-COVID-19 customer experience impact analysis? What does it mean? Now, from a definition perspective, it is very simply a process that guides businesses on how to identify, number one, the disruption in customer activities, in customer experience activities. Remember, I highlighted the customer's journey, right? So always remember that when I'm talking about CX activities during the pandemic. Now, this is a process that, again, let me go back to definition, a process that guides businesses on how to identify the disruption in customer experience activities during the pandemic, its financial implication, and then how to design and deploy a customer-focused business continuity plan post-COVID. That's what the impact analysis is. Now, where do you start? Obviously, I was going to have a small poll here, but because of time, I will skip this, right? So, but basically, where you start is looking at your performance overall. Like, there is no evaluating customer experience is a snapshot of your entire business. And there are three key things that you would like to find out, right? You want to know your performance. You want to know your sales performance. You want to know you could call this your customer service performance. You want to know your operations performance. From a sales performance perspective, you want to know how much sales have I made? Did you make more sales? Did you make the same sales? Did you make less sales, or did you not make any sales at all? Those are the kind of questions and data you need to get when you're trying to work on your post-COVID customer experience impact analysis. The second thing you want to look at is your customer experience or customer service performance review. How have you met customers' needs, and what is the quality of support that you provided? The third thing that you want to evaluate from a broad perspective is your operations performance. You want to look at how have you been able to empower and manage your employees to deliver great customer service experiences. Now, when you have looked at all of this data, you want to ask yourself, why did this happen? So one of the things that I did for my business when putting this, because I've come up with a new solution, which was selling to our clients now. One of the things that I discovered is that I couldn't make any sales as a CX consultant, right? Because all my clients were in different places in the organization. So I had to settle, there's a template that comes with this, right? So I had to settle down and go through my leads, my prospects, and all of that to identify, and look, I'm not making any sales. So that for me was a zero. In terms of my experience performance review, the strategy was just to engage. But I will share all of that later. Let me just jump right into conducting a diagnostics. Now, why did it happen, right? Very key. There's a slide I should have shared, but I think I deleted it in error, where I had a table with my, using my business as a case study. Sorry about that. If there's more time, I can share that before we're done. Right, so conducting a diagnostic analysis, why is your performance the way it is? That's the question you're trying to answer here. So when you're doing this, you have to break, like I said, you have your sales performance in view, your customer service, and then you have your operations. From a sales perspective, you list out your product or services in like a catalog. So if you have 10 products, you list them out. Now, for each of your products, you need to identify or put down amount generated before COVID and after COVID, right? Before COVID and after COVID, that's how you work out sales performance review. The third thing that you look at when you're analyzing your sales performance review is to look at the number of leads you generated before COVID, right? And then how many after COVID, plus how many of the leads before COVID were you able to convert after COVID? Those are the different scenarios that you need to work out. And then, of course, ultimately, you want to ask yourself the reason for your sales performance. So if you made more, why did you make more? If you made less, why did you make less, and vice versa? Now, let's go to customer service performance review. Same process applies. List out all your products and services. Now, the next thing, list out all your customer touch points. What touch points have you made available for your customers during pre and post COVID, right? How many customer interactions did you have? So when I say customer interaction, I mean how many customers contacted you, then the reasons why they contacted you, and then what was the outcome. So if you think back about my my talking about, you know, customer interactions, right? The journey customers travel through. So if you advertise your product or service pre and post COVID, what were the touch points customers could reach you to find out more, right? How many customers called you? What was the reason for their call? Was it to find out more? Was it to activate the service? You need to have all of this information. At the end of the day, you're looking at your overall conversion rates. By that, I mean how many leads actually bought from you, adoption rate. By that, I mean, if I was using, I'll give an example. So I'm using data and I was on, say, 15 gig pre-COVID, and I've been on that for a long time. And then because of the pandemic, I moved to an unlimited plan. So my adoption rate has gone on. Did I keep buying from you? That's my retention rate. Was I happy with every interaction I had with you? That's satisfaction rate. So you want to look at all of those things. And there's a lot of data, but you need to take your time to go through them. The third thing that you need to review is your operations, no doubt. Again, so ideally, you have one big, large spreadsheet. Your product service catalog to the extreme left, because that's what you're benchmarking everything against. And then for each stage, you can put down all of these things I'm talking about, right? So operations, again, product service catalog, and then how many customer touch points are available per product or service before and after COVID-19. Then you move on to number of transactions that came through. Transactions could be requests, they could be complaints, they could be queries, they could be inquiries. Those are termed as queries or transactions, right? From a contact center perspective. So you need to know those things. Now, for every customer that contacted you, you need to ask yourself, how quickly did I respond to them? That's your response rate. Now, apart from responding, how quickly did I resolve the issue? Whether it was a complaint, an inquiry, or a request, that's your resolution rate. Then you want to also look at how long did it take you to handle each transaction? That's your transaction handling rate. How long does it take you to fix a customer's issue? Then you also need to look at the quality of customer interaction, right? Interaction, which is your team, how are they responding to customers, and now the quality of the customer transaction. So if this particular customer contacted us, what was the quality of that customer's transaction? Very important. This is so much I'm packing into less than an hour, but I hope it's clear the kind of data that you need to gather and analyze when conducting this. So in summary, and I'm coming back to the customer journey, right? In summary, this is a summary of all the data from a business, so this is particular terminology, business performance indicator, KPIs, right? So this is a summary of the kind of business data you will get when you're done with your analysis, and it's in line with your customer journey. So you are in sync with what customers have been going through using your product or service. So again, from a broad business KPI perspective, under the find, where they find you, you are assessing your marketing channel availability, right? So were you online? Was it telephone? Was it email? Was it Facebook? Was it social media? How did customers find you? You will get that. And another key thing that you will find is and I can choose something that we do, and I can share this template later, is that you would identify which of your channels are most efficient, right? It's not just listing out the channels. For each customer that contacted you, how did they hear about you? That insight will help you not only know your key marketing channel, but also help you, structure your marketing budget, if you know what I mean, so that you know where to put your funds, so you have the most results, right? Then the KPIs we're looking at for ASCO, you're looking at contact center channel availability. You're looking at your contact center uptime. Are you available 24/7? You're looking at, how many customers contacted you on the average, right? And then what's the frequency? How often do customers contact you? From a business KPI perspective on decide and buy, your obviously retention, conversion rate. How many new customers did you win? Okay. And then very importantly, what's the revenue per customer? You need to know your revenue per customer pre and post COVID, right? Then so for use, you're looking at your customer activity rates. Are customers using the product as they should, right? You're looking at customer adoption rate. Are you cross-selling, upsell? Are they increasing their spend within the cycle of that product or service? Again, in terms of KPIs or business KPIs, on Ask for Help, I think I mentioned this already under operations, you're looking at your average response time, resolution time, and customer satisfaction. Then buy again, obviously your business KPI here that you're tracking is retention rate and revenue per customer still. Okay, so what do you do with all the data? Very importantly, you need to know your customer experience SWOT. Very, very important. You need to know. So from your customer experience strengths, what have you found out that worked well for you? How can you sustain that? How can you adopt what worked to improve your areas of weakness, to improve your blind spots? Very important, right? Now, your CX weaknesses, what did not work for you? And how can you prevent that from happening again? How will you measure a change in weakness? Very important. Opportunities, likewise. Have you identified new markets? So I'm going to use my business as an example, right? I run a customer experience consulting firm. So what like I said, we design products, service, and solutions to help businesses retain customers. From a strength perspective, the key thing that, worked for us, so I'll start with weakness, because weakness for us is that there were no sales. Everybody's priorities had changed. We had clients, one of the top 3 banks in Nigeria had reached out to us. We had all signed contracts, ready to roll out trainings, projects going on, right? But all of that was put on hold because of the lockdown. So that was a huge one for us. Now, all the trainings that we had, the weakness was that we did not have online variants for those trainings. So if we had online, options for those trainings, we would have immediately, cross-sold those options to our clients, and they would have probably spent less, but nothing would have gone wrong. Okay, so the strength for us as a business was that we are very big on customer engagement. So we spend a lot of time, I spend a lot of time, but my business is my brand, right? So I spend a lot of time sharing content online on customer experience, right? So we had people coming to us to ask questions on how they should manage customer experience during the crisis. So it wasn't reference generating, but we spent time offering free consulting services just to share what people could do. That's what happened. Now, the opportunities there for us is that these guys who we have shared tips with and shared CX management insights with, they have started coming back to say, we are a bit settled now, we need your help with this, right? That's happening. Now, for the threats, one of the things that we kind of found out is that we don't have, there's competition, right? There's a lot of competition around who is sharing data, what's the next direction in CX and all of that. But the threats are not really, really strong, because we have already started positioning ourselves as industry leaders in CX for Nigeria, for West Africa, for Africa, and I dare say for other parts of the world, because in this period, I've had engagements, with guys from all over Africa, all over the world, right? So that's what does. It's a very, very important exercise. Once you look at your sales performance, you look at your customer service performance, look at your operations performance, it's very important to take a step back, look at all that data, and then figure out what your SWOT is, because your next move will be triggered off your SWOT. So after looking at your SWOT, the next thing you want to think of is, how can you make your brand top of mind for your customers? How can you make your brand #1 in your customers' priority list? How can you make your brand #1 in your customers' preferred option list, right? How do you begin to create customer experience? How can you create a monopoly through customer experience? That's the prescriptive CX activity. Those are the kind of things to think about, because now you've analyzed your operations data, you've done everything. Now, what do you do next? Because the truth of the matter is, we are in an era where only the innovative businesses will thrive, not because they have the wherewithal to thrive, because they know how to identify opportunities and use them, right, to their advantage. And every opportunity for a business starts with a customer. So you need to be, so from that you move to this. And then what happens next? Everyone needs to get involved. A lot of times, when I work with clients, you only have maybe the owner of the business or the management team sit together and brainstorm. No, if you have teams in the organization, you have identified your pain points, you have identified your risk points. It's only, now you need to get everybody involved, right? Set up a customer experience improvement workshop. Agree on what needs to be done. You already have that data. So what do we need to change? Everybody sees it, right? Now, and a key question to ask yourself is, what will success look like? When you have ticked all these boxes, what will success look like, right? So at the end of you can tell yourself, for every customer who buys from me in this season, right? How will they measure success? How will I measure success? They will come back and buy again. That's success. So you need to make sure that all the bottlenecks you observed along your operations line are addressed, so that there's nothing stopping your customer from coming back to buy from you. And then, very key, assign roles and responsibilities, assign timelines, have a structured project management plan, very, very important. And then keep everybody engaged. Communicate, communicate, communicate. If it's a one-man business, it's you yourself and you. So same thing applies, right? So communicate, communicate, communicate. So in summary, this is what it looks like when you're conducting a post-COVID-19 customer experience impact analysis, right? So you start with gathering your data. I said sales, customer service data, and operations data. Analyze your data. That's the second step. What does the data tell you about your COVID-19 performance? Know your SWOT. The third step is you want to predict your CX future. So if with your current performance, what will CX look like for you in the future? And what can you do to change that if it looks negative, right? And then prescribe your CX. What can you do to change? What do you create? What do you introduce? What do you take away to enhance your customer's experience? And then get everybody involved. Like I said, include people in the process of improvement, assign roles, responsibility, and keep people informed. And the last thing, this is very key, keep repeating the cycle. You have to do this over and over again. You might choose to do this monthly, but I will advise quarterly, right? Because we're in the season of the pandemic, so you have to consistently check and track your performance. Right, so I think that's it pretty much. So from everything I've shared, yes, you can do this yourself. You can conduct your analysis using the notes you gathered, or you can do this with help. So what I've shared with you now is actually a new product that we have innovated. Again, by doing this exercise I'm sharing with you now, we came up with a product called a post-COVID-19 CX Impact Analysis Toolkit. So that will help. You would buy the toolkit from us. It has all the templates for your sales, for your operations, for your customers. It has all those templates in there. And then we will guide you through the process, right? If you want us to do that, or if you want us to just do it for you, that's fine. So for today only, because of the webinar, it's special offer, 50% off. You can send me an email or call or visit our website, and we're happy to, just for the guys on this webinar and for today only, we're offering 50% off this toolkit that will help you do all of the things I've said. And again, this is something that we did in my company to even help us come up with this product and many other products that we have already started selling. Right, so I think we'll take questions now. Take questions. I mean, if you have, you can reach out to me. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much, Debbie, and thanks.
Let me take off my screen, yeah?
Yeah, it's fine, if you want to, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine, if you want to. So Debbie, thank you so much, and especially for keeping it within, the limited time that we had. It's been an awesome, 30 minutes of listening to you and business owners, entrepreneurs, listening to how you could, establish your customer journey, how you could look at outcomes pre-COVID and what outcomes should really look like post-COVID, and also how we can conduct customer impact analysis post-COVID. Thank you very much. Participants, please go ahead and post your questions. We haven't seen any questions, but I'm going to post the first question. And just to let everybody know that we're going to make the slides available on our homepage, elevationg.org/. TECED. TECED is the Elevation Church Entrepreneurship Development. So the link to the webinar slides will be available on that page. I'll repeat it again, elevationng.org/TECED. I think we'll send that around to everybody so you can have the link address as you leave. So Debbie, while people are trying to, pose their own questions, let me also come up on video so that this can balance. I'm just wondering, look, my business during COVID, I didn't even attract any customer at all. Everything was shut down. How do I do a pre-COVID, post-COVID? Because it meant that if COVID continued for another 2-3 months, I'm out of business. What should I do as a person in terms of still, focusing on my customers? What should I do?
Yeah. So again, that's why it's very important to what you call know your customers, right? Now, if you have not made any sales, you need to take a step back to find out what else is important to your customers within what you provide. Very, very important. What else? Like, don't necessarily get stuck in, you may lose money because if you're in manufacturing, for example, probably would have produced a lot of stuff planning to sell. Don't get stuck in that, right? Look for opportunities. And the truth is, I was in that category. I didn't sell I didn't sell anything, right? Nothing came in at all, right? So I took a step back to say, okay, if my clients can't come to me, if I can't go to them because they can't have a lot of people in a room, I started checking online for alternatives. I started doing my research, and I found out that I can actually do my courses online, either as live sessions or as recorded sessions. So I can record and upload, right? Now in recording, I found a number of sites. Some of them are free. So I'm on Teachable now. I'm, using Zoom to record. I didn't have to get a camera or anything. I'm using my laptop. I just bought a floodlight for like 4,000 or 5,000 on Jumia, and I'm recording. I'm checking online. I'm watching other people's videos. I'm doing all of that stuff. So it's a lot of work, but you have to stretch yourself. And I started this journey of finding another niche with prayer. I need to emphasize that because the truth is, there's a place, I think the session PG had with some other guy, I think PK or so, talking about for SMEs. There's a place for academic, there's a place for education, there's a place for revelation, right? So it's just, I'm looking at my customers. What do they need from me? I can't do it now. Where are their priorities? And I'll give you an example. A client reached out to me 3 weeks ago to say during COVID, they had a lot of requests and everything. But what they found out is that their team was not delivering a certain level of quality. Now they want me to come in and help them with quality. And I tell you something, this contact, when this whole COVID thing started, God dropped it in my spirit to work on. I think, Theo, it was you that dropped a link of some reports from McKinsey on COVID-19, right? So when I read that article, it inspired in me to write an article for business on how to manage customer experience, 19 ways to manage customer experience during COVID-19, right? That was my deal breaker. When I did that, it just opened my mind to more opportunities. So again, it will not be as easy for you. My neighbor I was talking to the other day, she sells clothes. Nobody's buying clothes, right? So it's just take a step back. What are your customers doing now? What are they really doing now? And then how can I plug into what they're doing and still run a business? That's what I would say.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we have a question here. I'll just read it out. This person said,
okay,
what strategies can an investment firm put in place to handle customer experience, which will translate to sales? The company is into fixed deposit, insurance, and bureau de change. What strategies can they put in place? An investment firm, they want to increase sales.
So I'm going to take, BDC. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, go back to your customer's journey. You need to know who your customers are. Where are your customers? So if you go back to your customer journey, how do you advertise your product or service? That's number one, right? How do you track the effectiveness of your marketing channel? That's number two. Then what support have you provided? So that point of support, when you are putting out your product, does your front line understand all the kind of questions that customers would likely ask for you to win a conversion? How are you auditing what they are doing? Are they giving the right information? Are you even going to ask them, when customers call to ask questions, what kind of questions do they ask? What's the reason why they don't buy? You need to know all those things. So once you track that, then you now measure after a call. Remember I talked about the performance dashboard, and I'm happy to talk to this person offline, because the template will really help you. The template just breaks everything down for you. How do you take your sales when you have recorded your sales through that channel, right? That's it, that's how it goes. But you need to monitor your product knowledge going out. That's where it starts. Where are what channels are you using? Are people engaging? Why are they not engaging? Have you even checked out competition to know how they come? So if you look at the top players in your industry, an investment firm, how do they communicate? What's their approach to marketing communications? And what's it doing for them? You have to do a lot of work, and there has to be a synergy between your sales, your marketing, your sales, and customer experience. It can translate to sales. What I've realized that if you communicate from a customer's understanding, they will buy more. So instead of saying, I'm an investment firm, I do bureau de change, I do insurance, or I say, do you have money I want to save for a rainy day? Save for your children and your children's children. This is the way to go. You will highly likely have more people follow the second option to buy than the first one. Some people might not know what investment means or bureau de change means. You know what I mean? So it's the whole experience, right? So I would say your strategy should be understand your customers. Who are they? What do they want? Why do they want it? And you can start that from your existing customers if you have them. Why are customers buying from you now? Why do they like you? Take that and feed it into your marketing. As customers are calling to ask more questions, be in sync with your contact center or your customer service team to know people that are calling in. Now, if somebody calls in and does not buy, it would be great for you to do a sample check. Just call in or email or whatever to okay, why didn't you buy? It did not meet your need, because that may also give you some insight into something you're not doing right. Yeah. But overall, I would say a key strategy is follow your customer, understand who they are, and follow their journey step by step. Follow their journey step by step and be very intentional about recording their experiences and working with the insights that you get.
Thank you very much, Debbie. I'll take two questions in one. One of the person asking the question is an event planner. The other person is a makeup artist. They are in the same industry, but the question is similar. They're saying, how can I work on my customer experience in this current situation so that it can translate to sales?
So interestingly I'm going to use the event one as an example, right? You can, again, who is your customer and what is happening to your customer now? So if I ask the event, if we can, I don't know, can we bring in the event person on this call so we can have a few, that I can ask a few questions? Is it possible?
Okay. So TJ Sunimi,
yeah?
Panelists, can you just bring up the event planner, TJ Sunimi, so that she can ask a question.
Yeah.
TJ Sunimi, okay, I can see her.
Because the truth is, you need to know what's happening to her customer right now. What are they doing? And I'll give you an example. Like a lot of people now, a lot of companies are doing a lot of charity stuff. I follow quite a number of comedians on social media, celebrities. They're all going out and doing things, right? People are organizing food banks, or what do they call those things? Providing food for people. Those are events. So are you still thinking about events as wedding, birthday. I want to have a birthday in my house. You can begin to create self-help birthday event management, like event management toolkit. I want to have a birthday in my house. Just for a premium or a little fee, you can help me send my cake, send the basic things that I need. Logistic firms are working. So the key thing is, do you really know what your customers are doing now? Makeup is free. I mean, makeup is a tough one because it has the physical contact involved as well. But what I've seen that most makeup companies are doing now, like the House of Tara and all, is that they are sharing with people online how to apply makeup. Like now we are on this call, right? The right makeup for your Zoom call, the right makeup for your online. You just need to know what's going on, because right now there's so much happening. So you need to be in sync. What's going on? How can I tap into it? Again, don't be stereotyped. That's the hindrance. I was watching something. What inspired this for me was I was watching a video of AY. AY went out to do some charity work, donating food, there were canopies, there were things like that. That's event management. So I think the thing is, how do you still see your business? It has changed. It has completely changed. You can, on your own, begin to run those kind of soup kitchens as an event manager. You can do that. Because if you're somebody that has a connection with the guys who have canopies and chairs, you're in business. You're in business. Supermarkets now are doing the same thing. For those that don't want crowded, they'll ask you to stay outside to hit a certain number. You can, offer your canopy and chairs and begin to do stuff. So it's up to you to be open to what's happening now. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So,
just to have been enabled to speak.
Okay. So if he has any specifics, I want to run the last question, and then Tigesumi will ask you to please ask the question. But Debbie, thank you for that perspective you brought in. So what you're basically saying is, look, even though there is a lockdown and all of that, for example, the makeup artist, I could begin to engage my customers and say, look, are you getting on a call? What is the right makeup for your call and all of that? So even though there's COVID, it doesn't mean that is the end of business. There will be one way or the other that, because events are still going on even while
for makeup, exactly. And you know what, this makeup one really is interesting to me, because the other day I tried to go online. I've been using makeup every day because I have video calls, right? And I've run out of makeup. And I went online to all the stores, Zaron, House of Tara, and you have to buy a certain amount, right, to have free shipping. They were not doing retail. So if you're a makeup person, you can actually call these guys and say, I have customers, just give me this. I want to buy bulk. And then I am doing within this region, I can deliver 3,000, 5,000 worth of makeup. So you can now be the retail for that, if you know what I mean. You can be the retail for that.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
I think it's just if you rethink your business model, basically. Don't see it the way it has always been. Reimagine. And to be honest, there's no textbook, there's no Harvard newsletter that you have to pray. I pray though. And I still pray every morning, 6 to 7 a.m. We are on Zoom, we are praying. It's intentional. Some things just come with revelation. You can't see it in any textbook. This thing I've shared with you now, it doesn't exist anywhere. It doesn't exist anywhere. I've been sharing it on social media, and I'm getting people on LinkedIn, connecting with me from all over the world. I'm just a Nigerian, but I have the content from a place of prayer, revelation. And then, of course, I'm doing my research. So I'm not just waiting for God. No, I'm doing research. And as I'm doing research, I am seeing that He's showing me what to do. Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie. I like that your last remark, that you were not just waiting for God. It reminded me of one joke, on our management platform. And somebody said, Nigeria, we pray a lot. And then they were comparing us with a country that doesn't pray that much. And then I said, look, the instruction is to walk and pray. In work, we have scored F10. F9. F9 is the worst. Then we scored F10 in work. We scored A1 in praying. And so going forward, let us maintain our grade on praying, which is A1. But let's begin to work on the other side.
And it's a lot of work. What I found very interesting about the Christian work is it's when you move that you begin to see things. That's my personal experience, is when I'm talking to you now and something just triggers. I'm doing something, I'm acting, I'm reading. It may be a webinar I've signed on for, and someone says something and they confirm something else and before you know it, I'm in business, right? I mean, you were the one who shared that article on McKinsey, and this is the product of the article you shared 2 months after. You understand? So what do you do with the information? There's so much information now. Are you spending your time following up how many COVID cases are new and old and people that are dead? Or are you focused on looking for information? I had to declutter my social media network so that I'm only seeing once in a while. I follow Lagos State on Instagram. They're very accurate, so I know what's going. Other than that, I'm reading stuff, I'm checking, I'm searching who is doing what, and then I'm following, the leading and all of that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Debbie. The last question for today. This person is saying that, of course, COVID has affected a lot of businesses. He's asking that the quality of internet service, during this COVID time has been weak. Is asking what strategies should he put in place for customer retention.
Is this an internet service business? Yeah, is it an internet service business?
So he didn't put it. So I'm not sure he's an internet service business provider.
Yeah.
It's not an IS.
Yeah.
I think he uses internet for his services, and he's claiming that it has been weak across everywhere. So what strategy should they put in place to improve customer service?
So I think ultimately, one thing I've also realized in this period is that customers are very accommodating and forgiving. That's one of the things I have noticed during the pandemic, because it's not business as usual. So customers who would ordinarily be very upset, like I have not called my network provider since, I know everybody's online, so I'm understanding, right? But then I get a lot of text messages from them, about the usage and all about stuff. So I'm getting messages, so I'm not in the dark. So I would say a good way for you to set expectations at the point of delivery. Now, if you go on, when I do stuff, I sent a mail to GoDaddy the other day. The first thing that came back to me was I should expect delayed response because of COVID-19. And the entire world, everybody knows now that teams are stretched, people are home, right? Businesses are stretched. So what I would say is set the right expectation at the point of delivery to say, please expect these delays, we apologize, but this will be delivered. And be upfront at define what will be delivered and when. Then after periodically check in. Now, don't check in to tick the box of life and say, are you happy? This period we're in is a period where we need to show a lot of empathy to customers, right? So a friend reached out to me the other day to say they run a laundry service and they wanted to talk to customers about coming to pick their clothes because they're owing them. They want to send customers. But I said, don't send bill. Rather, just send a message to say your clothes are with us. We're not in operation. We don't want your clothes to get damaged. Can we deliver them to your house? Now, in delivering to your house, indirectly, you are paying me. But I have not said pay me, if you know what I mean. So it still comes down to, you need to analyze, break down your operations. Break it down. Follow your customer's journey. Where you cannot deliver a certain thing that customers expect, communicate it upfront. But when you come to, that's your weakness. That's the essence of the SWOT. So that's your weakness. Then when you have done that, make up for it in your areas of strength. Where is your area of strength in your business? That will help you retain customers. Right now, customers are very forgiving, but let's not take it for granted. That's what I say.
All right. Thank you so much, Debbie. It's been an awesome 50 minutes of interacting. We are very grateful. Thank you on behalf of the entire team. We'd like to say a big thank you. I would like you to put up your details again so that participants can just see those details. Participants, please reach out to Debbie if you want specialized service. She will put up her details, her email, her phone number, social media, and everything will be available. So please
Yeah.
reach out to her, follow her on our social media handles. But more importantly, there's an offer that is available for everybody who participated on this webinar today. Offer 50% off. It's available. Please grab it. Remember, the slides will make it available on our own page, elevationg.org/TECEG. We'll make it available so you can download it and you can engage further. I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. We had 58 people. This is awesome. Thank you very, very much for joining us. We'll ask you that you look out for the next webinars. We will be having other webinars in the week. We are waiting for 1 or 2 time confirmations based on the lockdown. Hopefully when the president speaks later tonight, we'll be able to see how we can continue in terms of timing. They'll watch out for the information from the church, the daily bulletin. The next webinars will be announced on the daily bulletin. One more time, Debbie, thank you very much for being a blessing to us today. We look forward to further engaging you. And for everyone that has joined, we ask that the wisdom of God will be available to you, even as you step out of the meeting concerning your business. God will give you wisdom on what exactly the next step is. Take your business to the next level. Thank you once again, everyone, and you have a good evening. Bye for now.
Bye.